This is your returning to the belly of the beast leader fan radio network.
The stories a stadium could tell.
And KFAN.com. 1 minute, 18 seconds past the hour of 3 Central Daylight Time. It is training camp time once again for the Bumper to Bumper crew. We're live, we're local from the exclusive KFAN radio perch on a pretty damned nice, early August afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. My name is Dan Barreiro, the occasional host of the program. Guardsy produces the show, and we will be with you on location until 6:30 tonight with a bevy of, I think, outstanding things in store for you, including several distinguished guests. We'll have our yearly visit with Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, shortly after practice concludes. We think practice is expected to go to a little after 4. Is that correct?
Usually, right around there.
In that range. In addition, we've got Seifert today, correct?
We do, after KOC.
We also have Jonny Athletic by telephone today, and Chuck Foreman is going to stop by our location in about 15 or 20 minutes, right in that range. You know, Guardsy, it was, I think, a year ago on this day, our first day at training camp, that the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, we thought maybe in satirical fashion, was bellyaching about the accuracy of one J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
And we thought it was a bit.
Loudly,
like, that's in the dirt. That's wide left.
Yep, exactly.
Little did we know how prescient he would be about our struggles.
Yep.
Enough struggles, even with the late season surge, for the Vikings to say, we've got to hedge our bets. We have to give ourselves another option. And, of course, that option was in front of us moments ago. That would be, of course, Kyler Murray, the quarterback. I've already declared it, as of yesterday's program, done. I think the competition is already over.
Yeah, probably.
But, and based on the way the Jackals have written about it, it's very clear they want it to be over. Here's what the Jackals do very, very cleverly. We'll try to get Seifert going on this. They'll say, for example, I think off of Saturday, they'll say, Kyler's best day, easily. JJ up and down a little bit. And then in parentheses, they'll say, now, admittedly, JJ was going against mainly the first-team defense.
Oh.
And Kyler Murray was going against the second-team defense.
Isn't that interesting?
That's not my fault.
Right.
All I can do is react to what I saw, and what I saw was Kyler Murray take a decisive, maybe prohibitive lead already. Do you think when KOC joins us, we will convince him to declare a winner?
No, I don't.
Think it's too early for that?
I think it's too early, yeah.
I mean, do the old bit like, like the projections that the networks do on election night? The old, according to several of ours, even with only like 7 precincts reporting,
right,
or 7 counties reporting,
right,
our computers are projecting Kyler Murray to be the winner in the state of California.
I think you could have,
or Minnesota.
I think you could have Steve Kornacki here on the perch. That's his name, right? I think you could have Kornacki on the perch with the sleeves rolled up, saying that exact same thing. And I don't think KOC would bite on it.
Yeah, you're probably right. We'll give it our best shot. A little breezy out here today. Bear with us on that. We'll do whatever we can. It's sort of a tradition.
It is.
Our location is a wind tunnel.
Yep.
And I don't think there's any place to move us to. Other than
winds are a raider.
We have gone inside the Continental Diamond Building, just in front of us here, when the weather has turned bad. Remember?
Of course. It was Kessler,
and then a flood.
You and me.
Water started intruding on the floor. We were like in knee-deep water.
We took on significant water.
That was the lightning storm day.
It was, and we were the only ones here.
Correct.
And literally, it was the 3 of us. It just shows you the professionalism in the way.
No one ever knew.
If Kyler Murray can improvise as well as we did, under duress like that, Vikings are going to have a good season.
That's correct.
Vikings are going to have a good season.
So it sounds like you're conceding it too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's academic.
I would think so, yeah, unless something dramatically changes in the next few weeks.
Let me ask you one, and we're going to get into this in more depth later, I hope, and perhaps even follow up with it tomorrow. I watched Lynx Fever. You went to Lynx Fever.
Correct.
By the end of the game, did you say to yourself, despite all of the drama and all of the other nonsense that's going on here that we've been forced to talk about over a period of time, maybe the game itself, maybe the players in the game themselves are going to save this thing. That the saving grace might be that the basketball can be, especially here, awfully, awfully good.
Well, I did kind of think that, because even going back to the Monica McNutt thing from a week ago.
Yes.
When she talked about, speaking very quickly and, saying the thing about the sisterhood, but then, we want to keep our attention on the game and the way it's being played. It's like, yeah, I think we all would. Everybody would be wise to, because if you just let that speak for itself, there is enough there. I do think
more talent than there's ever been, for God's sake.
And Waylon has said it to you on the radio, and we were talking before the show. She was saying it to me yesterday, like, when you have a Hall of Famer who's on the bench now saying, I'm just glad I retired when I did. Just because what they're doing less than a generation later, basically, is something that doesn't even seem possible in her mind. As one of the all-time greats.
She's seeing it every day.
She's seeing it every single day. And so, yes, I do. That should be their approach. It's like, get it to the basketball. Not that other stuff isn't important.
No,
we all know there's bigger things that are at play in all walks of life. But, man, if we could get everybody to just focus on the basketball and not the other stuff, whatever side of the other stuff you're on, there's a lot. And if you're, by the way, tuning it out because of other stuff.
That's where I was going next.
That's on you, and I'm just telling you, you're missing it, because it was unbelievable
especially
yesterday.
The first half.
Yes.
First half was ridiculous offense. And now, not very good defense, certainly by the Fever, but that's high-level offensive execution, man, and obviously a superstar in her rookie year. There's more meat on the bone, because that's where I wanted to go next, and we'll get to it later, about we hear about this all the time with actors. We hear it with singers, performers. Can you separate whatever you think about the politics? Can you separate that from the art?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking people to do here. Now, you don't have to. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
But if you're able to do that and concentrate on what you're seeing, it's such a better, improving, exciting brand of basketball. And here, it's a winning franchise that, again, appears poised to go into another 4 or 5 year cycle of being one of the dominant teams in the league and winning some championships.
Yeah.
I mean, that in of itself, once again, with a pleasing style of play on top of it.
When you look at, so Indiana comes in as hot as anybody, right? They're on a run. Everybody there is playing well. They're like the 6th seed right now, and they've got 2 players that are in the MVP conversation. And it got a little messy at the end.
Yeah.
The Lynx had to call a couple of timeouts. Yeah. But for most of that game, the Lynx were up double digits. And we're just kind of keeping Indiana at bay. For most of that game, I'd say 90% of it, once they got the lead, the Lynx just controlled it. And this is one of the, obviously it's the road show. It's the Caitlin Clark show. The place is packed.
Yes.
A lot of 22s, right? A lot of Sophie Cunningham stuff. And the Lynx just went out there and pretty much handled it from the tip. That's what the other thing that stood out to me was just like, this is one of the hottest teams in the league right now. Coming in, playing great, feeling good, and the Lynx pretty much no doubted them for the most part, which was pretty impressive.
All right, let's do this. Let's get an early pause in now. We'll have time to get back to that subject because there's more I have on my mind, and maybe if we don't get to all of it today, we'll be able to resume a conversation tomorrow. It's not going away. The league is not going away. Those stories are not going away, and how to handle all of this and process it is part of the ongoing discussion as well. A lot of it yesterday on the program, too. But when we come back, let's get back to football. That's going to be the heavy. You're going to get a heavy dose of it today from training camp. Our first day here. KOC later from here. Kevin Seifert after KOC from here. And when we come back, our old friend Chuck Foreman hanging out today. We'll catch up with him, get his thoughts on Kyler and everything else. Chuck is not shy about offering an opinion or two. We'll get the best from Chuck in just a matter of minutes as we continue to monitor Vikings practice as well. Stay tuned.
Before we go, the fan at BigDeck.com, I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest at KFAN.com. The keyword is green. The keyword green at KFAN.com. Keyword green.
You're listening to Barreiro, live from training camp on The Fan. Presented by the Minnesota Sports and Events Golden Ticket.
From the 1-800...
The takes don't stop when the mics turn off. You can check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials and password games, and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
always a pleasure to chat here, especially when we're out at TCO Vikings training camp at the prettiest runner in Minnesota Vikings history, Chuck Foreman, kind enough to join us. You wouldn't mind that description. Obviously there's been some great runners.
So it's the first time I've heard it like that, I'll take it.
Just aesthetically as pleasing as anybody I saw. Some of those 180s. Some of those moves, man. Honestly, Adrian Peterson, who I think they're putting him in the ring. Obviously, Hall of Famer. His record speaks for itself. But I wouldn't necessarily call him a pretty runner. Because his style is just different.
Definitely different. But boy, that's a natural thing.
Absolutely. You either have it or you don't, right?
You run it the way you know how to run
exactly.
it. And he does it really well his way.
Well, you did too. That's for sure. And it's good to have you back. I'm glad you're hanging in and doing well, too. Here we are, man. Another training camp.
A lot of questions about the season coming up. And so we'll have to wait and see.
Do you miss Mankato as much as we do? We kind of miss the romance of the old training camp on the college campus. I know those days are over.
It was really intimate with the media because, Bud was kind of lenient with that.
Sure.
And then with the fans, we were hands-on, whereas now, it's almost like they're hands-off. And so it's a totally different
no more corporate?
Yeah, no more corporate stuff, stuff like that. So it was really different, really intimate, I would say.
No question about that. So I guess I'll ask you, and I'm sure you've addressed this elsewhere, maybe even on TV, but we haven't talked for a while. The assumption, I think, for many of us is that this is Kyler Murray's job to lose, that you don't bring him in unless you intend to not, to make him the guy who will start that season opener. Is that your assumption as well? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think they brought him in here. I think he's got a great upside. We know what he can do. He's been injured. I wouldn't say he's been with the best of teams either since he's been in the game, and now he's coming with organization has some stability, got a great defense, got a great defensive coach to start off with, and the offensive room, when you look at the receivers, one of the best in the game. Running backs are real solid. Offensive line is the only question mark we really have, not because they aren't talented, but they don't seem to be able to stay healthy. And so if they can do that, and then with Kyler Murray and JJ can sit back and learn for a little bit, be a little bit more, let's say, mature about the way he approaches the game. He certainly has the physical gifts to do that, but, I think he'll be eventually a really good quarterback.
So you haven't given up on JJ?
Oh,
you think that's a mistake?
I would think that would be a big mistake because I think, he's just a young guy.
Yeah.
And, I think once he understands the dynamics of what's expected of a quarterback, maintaining your cool. You don't have to go in the end zone and do your little thing. It's not even necessary.
Yeah.
You just make the plays, you walk off the field, and it speaks for itself. So I think those are things that he'll learn or should have learned. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the coaches already talked to him about it. But, I think if he's dedicated to the game like he should be, he's got the physical gifts, no question about it. And all he's got to do is just take this time and learn the little things that he needs to learn to be an exceptional quarterback. And I think he will if he does it the right way.
What do you want to see? What do you think is fair to expect of Kyler Murray? If Kyler Murray is playing his best, what does that look like to you?
I think if Kyler Murray's playing his best, it looks like an exceptional offensive football team. Because what he's going to bring to the table is escapability, but he's got to be like a Houdini type thing, where it's like, hey, you got to know when to go down and disappear and come back. That's the way I look at it. But if he can bring that mindset, because he's got everything else, and if he can stay healthy, take advantage of all the offensive weapons he has around him, I think the Vikings could be, they're definitely a playoff team with him if he stays healthy.
So do you buy, one of the theories that's being advanced is this is a one-year deal, obviously.
Right.
So that there's always this assumption for players in any sport. Right. Well, if they're in a contract year, you're going to get something extra from them. You used to play. Is that true? Is that automatic? Is there something extra, or is that unfair to put it all on that?
Well, it's a big difference from when I played. I was playing for a big, hey, look, I got a $50,000 bonus, $26,000 my first year, $28,000 my second, $32,000 my third now, and then I was going to hold out, okay, for a big $65,000. Okay, now let's jump to nowadays.
Yeah, right.
Kyler Murray's already a $160 million man, so. If he's here to play,
that's a great point.
He's here to play because he wants to do a great job, and he knows that money's coming. He's already got that money over there, so this is just additional stuff. But I think with a guy like him, being two-time Texas Player of the Year in high school, going off and being the #1 draft choice out of Oklahoma, and now he's got he played with an NFL team that I thought was just kind of mediocre all around, and so he's coming here with a great offensive coach and. If everything's in place for him, I think he can take this team to some great places.
Well, why has he been as inconsistent as he? Because he's had some good seasons. He had other stretches. Had one horrible playoff game. There's a reason he's available, Chuck.
That might be because the attitude towards him, and then the attitude reversed, created some issues where he was.
That could be.
That's what I think it is, and I think with a whole new start and a whole new beginning, with all these guys around him, great look at this facility here, and all the things that he has in place. I mean, it'd be foolish for him not to come here without leaving Arizona back where it was. Let them deal with that. But now you got this great opportunity to do some great things with a team that defensively is going to be ready and consistent, and that's a real important asset. Now you come into this offense, they just need one thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, two things. Stay healthy up front. And have that consistent ball, that quarterback there that can make plays. Got a great arm, great mobility, escapability. Some of the things that we don't even have at that position ever. I mean, we had Fran Tarkenton, but Fran Tarkenton wasn't the athlete this guy is by any stretch of the imagination. But if he's coming and he's coming with the right attitude and everybody comes together, I can see us, getting into the playoffs and doing some damage.
You were a running back.
Right.
You could also catch the ball, obviously, but your position was running back.
Fullback.
In your opinion, does KOC spend enough time caring about running backs and running the ball? Even in this pass-happy league we're now in.
I think one of the problems is it is a pass-happy league. But when you get down to it, when the last 4 or 5 teams are in the Super Bowl are contending, they got strong running game. And so I think he has to take advantage of the guys that he has there. We got great running back room. And other than I think sometimes he goes through that passing attack because the offensive line's been not in sync.
True.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. But if he can get that running game going and that passing attack stays intact, I think they can go do some good things offensively and not have to depend on, hey, listen, if that running game's going, JJ's going to be going much better.
100%.
And then, you got Addison, you got the tight end Hawkinson, you got all those guys that will benefit from a strong running game.
So you mentioned the offensive line.
Right.
All the indications early are, Christian Darrisaw is already probably the quote that's been repeated the most from early camp is, I haven't felt this good in 2 years. So as a guy, I don't know if you can remember injuries you had.
Right.
Because I always have that question about, is that part of the challenge? When you're coming back, in his case, from a significant injury, that you can say all the things, hey, I'm fine, I'm going to fight through it. But if you don't feel it, that if you don't get past that fear of, am I really back to 100%? Can I really go all out the way I did before I got the injury? You're kind of in trouble, right? So give me a sense of what that process is like when you get hurt and getting past it mentally.
Well, getting past it mentally is when you get that hit that you aren't expecting, and it's kind of like one of those hits that, that could cause a problem like that.
Right.
And you get up and you say, oh, okay.
It's all there.
Maybe I'm okay. I know for me, I mean, I got hit once or twice, and I'm like, I thought twice about getting up until I looked up and there was a friend of mine smiling like Wally Chambers. And I jumped up, and I was hurting a little bit, but that makes you come back.
Yeah.
But I think that with the injuries up there, and these guys got a lot of pride. You don't make it to this level unless you have that extra it. You know, that thing, because every level you get to requires more commitment. And every year it requires more commitment because you're getting older. And, you know, and this is the NFL, means not for long. You know, it's like you got a limit on the time you're going to play this game. And a lot of guys, when they understand that and they stay physically committed to their craft and they come in here, they're ready to go. You know, it says a lot for the success of the team. And so, like, if these guys are back healthy, especially on our front line, and Darrisaw has to stay healthy because the last 2 years he hasn't been. And so if he's feeling good, great. But I'm hoping he's doing all the things that he needs to do to sustain that health.
Vikings all-time great Chuck Foreman, kind enough to join us on the exclusive perch where it is, as you could probably hear, a little bit windy today. Hope you bear with us on that. Who hit you the hardest? Name me the defensive player who hit you the hardest as a pro.
Well, I'm going to tell you one of my best friends. I just mentioned his name.
Wally Chambers. I remember.
Chambers.
Yep.
We were up in Minnesota playing the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Wally used to come to Miami with me and work out.
I grew up watching.
And all that. We were real tight. And we down there working out at the U and all the little things I used to do. And I did that spin thing, right?
The spin doctor move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I saw him coming out, you know what I mean? And I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back inside on him, right? And I normally never went back into the mess. I kind of tried to get away from it. Well, yeah, I did. And guess what? I did that thing, and I came back around, and I had the hardest hit I've ever had in the NFL, right? And I was actually laying on there, and I'm like trying to breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I look up, and it was my best friend. Smiling at me, you know, and he could have really hurt me, you know, but he didn't. He let me down easy.
Yeah.
But that was like the first time I ever tried to do that spin move to come back into the, thinking I'm coming back and I'm seeing an open space in there, and that was the last time I ever did it, though.
Learned the lesson.
Yeah.
So was the hit high? Where was the hit? Where did you feel it on your body?
Well, he hit me, when I came back. He kind of got me up top.
Okay.
I was pretty tall running back.
Right.
It just the impact, it kind of stunned me. You know, I was kind of, okay, that stunned me, but I was shocked that somebody would actually hit me because I never got hit in that move.
That's why you were good.
And so, I was shocked that somebody was there. Mm-hmm. But when I looked up and saw it was him, I'm like, and he just laughed at me. But he knew I was hurting a little bit too. So that was a lesson learned and a hit that I never forgot.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think we've talked about that one before. You mentioned Fran earlier,
right?
And I don't think we've discussed this with you. If we have, let's do it again, because Fran surfaced a couple times, and I think the last time I saw this was during the season, might even before the Super Bowl. And I don't know if it was in a podcast or somebody interviewing him in Atlanta.
Right.
And he said, well, one of his biggest frustrations talking about the Super Bowl losses that he was associated with was that in that 2-week gap, the Vikings, unlike any other teams, didn't practice in the first of the 2 weeks. Exactly. And that he believed that contributed, that in fact, some of the teams you lost were pretty damn good teams, a lot of good talent, but that he believes that had something to do with it. And I've never heard anybody else from those teams either confirm it or say, no, we did practice. I don't remember that. What do you remember about that?
I confirm that. I was really upset that we did not practice. We took a week off. And we were playing like the Super Bowl, the two best teams in the league. And I'm listening to all these other, I'm calling friends from other teams. Hey, well, when we got practice, I can't talk to you. I'm like, what? and we did not have practice. So we had 1 week to really get ready physically, because everybody took the time off. And I don't know. I mean, I worked out a little bit, but not like,
right. No, it's not the same.
It's not the same because you didn't have to come to practice.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of guys just went home and came back.
Yeah.
And so that was to me, one of the big. Well, I think it was the biggest mistake we ever did.
Well, what was the Bud theory there?
Bud just felt like,
fresher this way.
Not only that, to think if you had some injuries or stuff like that,
right,
you could heal. But I'm saying, well, let me get into the whirlpool and all that stuff up there, and I'll go practice. And that's
sure.
the way I wanted to do it. But he gave us that week off.
Wow.
And then a week. And so when everybody got back, you don't know. You're trying to get back into the groove and back into the mindset of playing. And we went out there thinking we were there, but we weren't there.
That's amazing to me. And we had Bud in studio how many times, Guardsy, over the years, or we went to him when he had his rummage sales.
Right.
I don't think we ever discussed it because I don't remember having heard it except more recently, like I said, from Fran. And it's interesting to get confirmation on your point.
No doubt.
Because I could see maybe taking the first couple of days of the extra week and say, okay, we're backing off a little bit. But I would think you'd want to ratchet the thing up, but you'd want to take advantage of that time, the assumption being the other team's doing it.
That's what, especially some of the teams we were playing.
Yes.
We were playing some big physical football teams,
Yeah.
And those guys had, all that, and they were practicing. We weren't. And so I just thought it was, to me, Bud didn't make many bad decisions, but I thought those 3 decisions, each Super Bowl, we did the same thing. And not only that, we changed up our offense where it was totally uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah, we changed up. Instead of, to me, attacking the defenses that we were playing against with what got us there, we were trying to outsmart them, and that didn't work. And so that's my opinion, and I was really not, hey, listen, 3rd and 1 on the 1 yard line. Who you going to get the ball to?
You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, they call it 22 lead with me blocking. Okay.
How'd it go?
It didn't go well.
Didn't go well.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying,
don't outsmart yourself.
Like when they made the call, I'm like, hey man, I can jump over this. No, really, that's what I said in the huddle. I said, hey, I can just jump over. But you're trying to outthink the guy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it wasn't the fact that he couldn't, but the fumble, he lost the ball on a fumble. But even at that,
man.
hey, listen, I had a really, really high vertical leap, man.
The jump over the top.
I was going to jump over the top of that thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought we were going to call, because that's normally what we call. And so we tried to trick them, and it backfired.
Didn't go very well.
Yeah.
Well, so now did anybody, you always told us, Jim Marshall was the guy you guys went to lobby for stuff, hey, because you got Bud's ear.
Right.
Why didn't anybody go to Jim and say, Bud, what are we doing? We want to work. This is Super Bowl. Let's go practice. No one tried?
Okay. Let's put it in my position at the time, being a younger guy, because the team was pretty much a very mature senior team. I didn't have any say-so, but, at that point, everybody believed in what Bud was saying, because they said, okay, here's Bud, he's giving us time off, so he must know more than what we know. But in my opinion, as an athlete, no, I don't want that time off. I want to stay focused on the things that I need to do to get back to stay where I'm at. And so those were some of the choices and decisions that I thought hurt us instead of helped.
That's interesting. That's fascinating to hear. Chuck Foreman, as I said, is our guest. KOC is going to join us after practice, and then Kevin Seifert will stop by. Jonny Athletic coming up in just a little bit by telephone as well. Now, the running back position is not valued today as much as it once was, although it's starting to come back a little bit. So if the spin doctor was in his prime, what kind of money would you be making, do you think? And plus, plus you were not just the running back; you could catch.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that created the running.
Exactly. Yes.
I'd say probably about 35, 40 million a year.
Think about it. Well, you probably
do think about it. What do you mean think about it?
Just by accident of birth, John.
And I'm sitting here thinking when I had that 20, because back in the day, teachers were making maybe 18,000. The teaching, I had the teaching degree and all that, thinking I'm going to just go and do that after I'm done. But I was making 26,000. I got a $50,000 bonus. It allowed me to go put a down payment on a house for my mom and dad, a real nice place. We still have it, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And both my parents have passed away. My sister's living there. But I'm just saying, but some of the things I did with that money for, with family and all that stuff, I'm thinking I'm rich, right? But, maybe back in the day, you might have been comfortable.
Right.
But just thinking of the things I did with that little bit of money and what you could do for the people that you care about.
That's a great point.
And other people, you know what I mean? It's just like, wow. But then when I see today, hey, even if you come into this league as a free agent and you play 3-4 years, right? Say, I don't know, the minimum is what, 700,000?
I don't even know.
Something like that.
In that range,
let's say in that range. And say you pay your taxes and all that, you pay some money, so you can save maybe about $200,000 a year. Heck, if you put in some years, at least you'll have like $800,000 or $900,000 in the bank. That's a good start for anybody.
It's true.
That's just for a free agent. But if you get there and you get drafted and you get some money, hey, you should be good to go.
What's the most you ever made in one season?
The most I made was $250.
$250.
Supposed to make. And then wait a minute, yeah. Well, but I don't want to get into all this.
Why?
But
It's a statute of limitations that run out on it.
Okay, I got a $500,000 bonus that was supposed to be paid to me in 10 years after I was done. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole thing. It's kind of frustrating. So I had a situation. I was in the trucking business, right? And so some things came up through that and all this kind of stuff. And so I needed to somehow my loan. I'm just going to be straight. Can I be straight?
Absolutely.
My loans were being called, and I couldn't understand why, because I wasn't late or anything like that for anything. For any
underpayments. Yeah.
No, it wasn't late or anything. But all these things all of a sudden were being called, and I'm like, what the heck is the deal? They got me between a rock and a hard place. And then I decided to take that money that I thought I was going to get money to get everything back on track.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to go. I'm just like, I'm not
too painful.
It's not so much painful as more so disappointing.
Right.
Because I had assumed one thing about my money and what I had there. And in hindsight, when, the guy that was representing me had a relationship with somebody this is like way before, this has nothing to do with these people nowadays.
Gotcha, yeah.
Let's clarify that. And he made a deal with one of the people there, and that's as far as I'm going to go.
Wow. That's messy.
And so,
so you never got that. I understood was part of the deal.
But I never got what I thought I was supposed to get.
Yeah, well.
But like I say, hey, that's water over the dam.
Yeah, right.
And those were not the people that are here now.
Right, I got you.
Or anything like that. But I'm just saying that I had a guy that worked, and he was dear to, he passed away. But before he did, he's the guy that called me in to his hospital bed before he died.
Man.
And told me this whole story about what happened.
That's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah, but like I say, hey, I'm in a good place and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with these people.
No, I understand. I think
let's clarify that, because these are great people here.
I think people understand that.
Okay,
yeah,
but
I wasn't trying to make you feel bad about how much money you could have made.
Yeah,
but it is interesting how just again by accident of birth, how different. I mean, like you say, this is money that these days that you get one big payday,
right?
One big contract. You're set.
You're good to go.
Right.
So that's the good thing about this game. It's like it's not for long, no doubt. Right. But it could bring some great things to you and your family and people around you. That's the way you choose to go, and it's a great game to play. And the good thing is, this is a good organization to play for. And all the people that I've met after the group that I was with, and there were some good people in the group that I was with. Don't misunderstand me, but all the people that I've met in this organization after I came through have been really, really good, solid people. And look what they've done. They've built a facility that's unbelievable. They've always showed me respect.
Yeah.
And what I've done and accomplished.
Yeah. There's no question. Well, yeah, and then they should.
Yeah, but
the alumni part is important because not all teams do that.
Not everybody does that, but the Vikings do a really, really good job. They got Tracy McDonald there, and Tracy, and she's got Tom West, all those people that work with the alumni.
Yeah,
and they do a really great job.
I got one last tax question for you. So, what a lot of people we know, Garzi and I know, do is they say, well, I like it here, but man, there's a lot of taxes here. So here's what I'll do. I'll go to Florida.
Right.
You know Florida pretty well.
Right.
And I'll spend 6 months and 1 day there.
Right.
And then I won't have to deal with all the Minnesota taxes. Why has Chuck Foreman never done that?
Chuck Foreman ain't never made money to do that. You want me to save $50? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But no, I do get back to Florida quite a bit.
I know.
And,
that's good.
I love Minnesota and everything it brings and brought to my life. And, my best days have been here. And
no question.
I will always be here. And
that goes beyond money.
Yeah, it goes beyond that. So, I got a good family, great family here. And what more can you say?
Nothing. And you enrich our show every time you're on, man.
And I can't complain.
Well, we never complain when you're with us. I'm glad you're doing well. It's always a pleasure to chat with you and just keep on fighting the good fight.
Hey,
that's all you do.
I'm good to go.
I know. I can tell. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
Always appreciate it. Chuck Foreman, one of the greats, joining us over the years. We'll get a quick pause in now. Continue to monitor practice. We expect KOC after practice. But Jonny Athletic's going to come up with us by telephone after a brief pause.
This is Dan Barreiro, live from the TCO Performance Center in Eagan for Vikings training camp on the...
It's time for Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic. And he's on with Dan Barreiro right now.
I'm trying to figure out what it's like to be Jonny Athletic right about now, because his specialty is the National Basketball Association. This is, I think, relatively speaking, the month where it's almost hibernation. He refuses to acknowledge, it feels to me, any other sport, including the WNBA, in this town. So, Jonny, is that the deal for the month of August? That you're just going to kind of go underground and pretend that if nothing big is happening with your precious Timberwolves, there's nothing to actually talk or think or write about?
Yeah, this is the perfect time to get away. I was just talking with Blake more about this off air. This is the most fraudulent month of the sports calendar, because you just got everyone looking at every single pass that Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy are throwing, and when there's an incompletion, that guy has lost the job. When there's a completion, that guy's going to the Hall of Fame. And so you got that going, and we're all reaching for stuff. And then, the Lynx are still jockeying for position in the playoff race. The Twins, who knows what's going to happen there? We're a long ways from the games meaning something. And so let me just sit back, let it all marinate, let everyone obsess over the little stuff. And then once September comes around and everything starts meaning something, I'll reemerge and tell you all what to think about what's happened.
Well, that is convenient for you to have that view. And you're not completely wrong, but here's where you're a fraud. If you had to cover, in other words, if this was your job, then you too would be doing the same thing and not apologizing for it. You say, well, this is what I got to do. I got to find a way to cut through it and try to make some sense out of it. And probably blow some stuff out of proportion, but that's the job. You're just fortunate that you don't have to do that until Wolves training camp.
Yeah, and I certainly would never do that, let's say, in July, Dan, when the Wolves are having discussions with certain free agents that probably weren't going to happen, or at least were a long shot. I never would, try and make something out of nothing there, or at least amplify it and tell everyone how important it was. That wouldn't be me at all. So yes, no, I'm above all of it. I can look down my nose at everyone who's doing it right now, because that is far beneath a journalist of my standard to do.
Is it premature, speaking of recklessness, is it premature to say that Olivia Miles has a chance to be one of the greatest and most accomplished pro athletes in Minnesota sports history?
I mean, that's a big mountain to climb, but I mean, when you're talking about how you enter a league, how you start your career,
which is unprecedented,
I do think it belongs. Yeah, it belongs in the conversation for the best rookie season that we've seen among the best. I mean, I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, and so this is not my original thought, but if you want to compare it to Randy Moss's rookie season with the purple, I mean,
yeah, you're right.
It's not hyperbole, right?
No, it's not.
I mean, like, it comes into a team that you're not really sure where they're going. There's not a ton of expectations on them. And then all of a sudden just lights the place on fire. And that's what Olivia has done. And so she's been absolutely remarkable. And when you think about an organization that just needed a shot in the arm, and who knows, maybe she may have saved the Nafisa Collier Lynx career. Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think there was a lot of talk at the start of the season that maybe this was Fee's last year in Minnesota. And man, with the way that Olivia's playing, do you want to leave her? And so she might stick around in part because of Olivia Miles. And I mean, how much bigger of an impact can you have? She's legitimately should be top 2 or 3 in the MVP conversation right now. That's amazing.
Well, to your point, you mentioned Moss, his breakout, his rookie year, 98, he received 4 MVP votes that year. Now, I don't remember how many, but she's going to get more than that. And again, I don't know how many total votes there are now compared to then, but she's going to get more than that. I haven't spent enough time to sort of study the field, but that's what I think stands out about this season. Obviously, there's a lot more that has to be accomplished to become the most accomplished. But in terms of walking in, I think you've nailed the best comparison in terms of influence, in terms of just sort of setting her world, his world on fire right off the bat. Say, what the hell's going on here? Who is this person? I think that's probably as an apt analogy as you're going to get.
Yeah, and what we're seeing now with Olivia Miles is she is transcending the league in terms of she's crossing over. Now she's this flashy player who has the glasses, who has the hair, and is attracting a casual fan that otherwise wouldn't be paying attention. I mean, even like you're listening to Bill Simmons' pod or all these major sports pods that concentrate on men are just saying, hey, have you seen Olivia Miles play? And like that's what she is doing with not just these things that she's accomplishing, but the way in which she is accomplishing them. Her style of play is so electric and so magnetic that it is kind of causing people outside of who would normally pay a lot of attention to the WNBA, to the Minnesota Lynx, to sit up and pay attention to it. And that's, I think, it's palpable. You can see the interest that she's drawing that is beyond what you normally see for a WNBA team.
Here's where I think, because the other analogy worth talking about, and I think we may have before, is the LaMelo Ball at the position. And to me, what she's mastered already in her first year is she's not making not only crowd-pleasing, aesthetically pleasing plays, she's making consequential plays. And that's the part, for me, that LaMelo has to prove he's up for. I'm not saying he can't, but that's the difference. It can be pretty. We know he can be pretty. But can you make the consequential plays, just the right plays and the good plays, which she already is? Hell, I mean, like you said, she's the best player, one of the 2 or 3 best players in the league, out until a week ago. they lost, was it 5 other players, either to free agency or expansion, whatever, and they easily have the best record in the league. That means she's not just making plays where you go, oh my God, did you see that? She's making winning plays.
Yeah, and you and I both love Ricky Rubio, Dan. And, you know, what we saw from Ricky in his first season before he was injured was really flashy plays. They were winning games at a higher rate than normal, but certainly not at this level that Olivia is dealing with. And same with LaMelo. Like, LaMelo can match Olivia or exceed her in highlight for highlight, if you want to just do it that way. But what we have not seen from LaMelo yet is, can you elevate your teammates around you to dramatic heights? And I think the most exciting thing about Olivia Miles right now is, I mean, yes, Courtney Williams is a great player. Yes, Natasha Howard is a great player. Kayla McBride is a great player. But all 3 of them, I think, have benefited in a major way from the way that Olivia plays. And so she not only is getting her own, she not only is creating highlights that are really fun for my daughter to watch, and my son to watch, you know, the day after, but she has resurrected Natasha Howard's career. She has extended Kayla McBride's career, because McBride is shooting 74% true shooting in July. And a lot of that is because of the clean looks that Olivia is creating. Yep. And so those types of things are just at another level. It's what the truly great players do. And these players were all really good players, but they are all-star level, amazing players with Olivia Miles at the trigger.
And she herself is shooting 50% from the floor at a guard spot, which, of course, a lot of it is that ability, obviously, to make people miss. She gets past anybody she wants to and goes all the way and can finish at the hoop. I need to get a quick pause in. We'll come back into a couple other matters with Jonny Athletic. We expect KOC to join us from the Perch. We are at Vikings training camp, our first day. Back in just a minute here on The Fan.
Minnesota Vikings training camp coverage happens all week
on the radio home of